Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. It is Eclipse Day. It is August 11, 2018. I have some messages for you as well as oracle cards at the end. So we'll get right into it. Yesterday, just a few residual messages from yesterday. Going into this new moon eclipse, which was Eastern Standard Time, so it was about 4 a.m. this morning, I believe. Number coming up today was 2222, or actually last night, and 333. And I was getting for the Divine Masculine yesterday as twins support to look for oneness. For this is for the Divine Masculine. So look for oneness from your Divine Feminine for use during this eclipse, and don't give up. Like, look for support from your Divine Feminine if you need to. Don't give up. So that was a very specific message for the Divine Masculine last night. There may be some volatile energy. Independent white female came up again. Like single white female. The Divine Masculine, some may be having issues around their left hip or buttock area. I was getting the King of Pentacles with a hands-off policy. But again, truth and butts were coming up multiple times. Premium butts. So I was also getting infinity grip. Infinity, the word infinity has been coming up a lot. And then the Xfinity truck was in front of my house yesterday and again today, which never happens. That's not for me. I was getting truth sits on a woman's shoe. And Cinderella came up right away for me for that. But if it means something else to someone, let me know, please. That was interesting. Truth sits on a woman's shoe. Superman rescues Lois Lane from Jurassic Park. So some of the Divine Masculines might want to come in and rescue their Divine Feminine from what they deem is an inappropriate place for them to be. Physical activity was coming up as important for the Divine Masculine last night. Also, Horse is Down came up. Horse is Down by itself. And then Horse is Down at the Tracks also came up. And then I got Jacked Up and Jacked Up Springs, and then Electric Failure. So all of this may have to do with one situation, but they're all also separate messages. Okay, so Horse is Down at the Tracks, all jacked up, basically, jacked up, and then Jacked Up Springs, and Electric Failure. Okay, so that was just left over from yesterday, as well as 1010 and number 10, which is the wheel. Yeah. Oh, and for the Divine Masculine, L5 came up. Lower back pain, even crutches maybe for some, but the lumbar 5 came up. So again, there may be some pain on the left side for the Divine Masculine in that area. So lower back to left hip and butt. So maybe some sciatic pain. Also numbers, and still from yesterday, numbers 233 came up. 49's been prominent actually. 66, 14 also is coming up a couple times now, coming into today. 99, 747. 24, 32. 44 and 99, as well as 49. And then I watched Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society last night, which is an amazing movie, so I definitely recommend watching it. And when I wrote down the title, in Pi, I'm seeing Pi, P-I. So again, relating to the union of the self. So maybe this is a very good movie to watch for union of self. It was really beautiful. And then Come Sail Away came up again. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Okay, so let's see. That was 1946, by the way, and 46 came up again today for me, so I know that was important to bring up for that movie, Guernsey, 1946. And then Romeo and Juliet also came up. So much of last night of that movie, so much of the romance was very heart-filling. And I was getting the attachment of that feeling to the Divine Masculine. Very heartwarming. And again, a reminder, just in some stuff that was coming up for me yesterday, be careful about getting caught up in the semantics of language. Don't take each other the wrong way, because the way the Divine Masculine communicates is different than the way the Divine Feminine communicates. So what you say may be interpreted in a whole different way from their perspective. Okay. So 2422 also, and then an odd number, 3478, if that means anything to anyone. And then in my sand art for today, actually I didn't tell you about the sand art yesterday, which was actually significant, so I'll tell you both because today's was really quick. The sand art from the 10th was all about, I was seeing an elephant, a baby elephant, being fed by a whole family of elephants, right? And then I was being shown that one of the family turns bad on the baby elephant. And so the baby elephant goes into hiding from that moment on. And I was actually seeing that another baby elephant dies. So one doesn't even survive, and the other one does survive, but hides their whole life. And then I was seeing, as others come into their world, and then I saw a wolf pack as well, you know, very ferocious. This baby elephant is still in hiding, as the emotions build and build and build over them, burying them under the emotions, you know, and then you see the wolves come in. And actually it could have been like the wolves devouring the other dead elephant babies. So this other little elephant baby is so wounded as they grow, and they just get covered in their emotions, and they drown basically in their emotions. But as they drown and as they grow, I'm being shown, like, you know, the whale comes up to give them nurturing and to remind them of who they are. And other kind people come into their world to start undoing the process that was put on them in that life. Yeah, so it's like the healing process, you know, the Chiron process, and then the 50-year return of Chiron. Is there anything else? That's interesting, because then the whale turns into what looks like a submarine. So it's like the whale comes to save the baby, you know, because the baby's drowning under all these emotional waters. And so the whale comes as like a rescue ship, which is really beautiful, and Spirit's connecting with me. So it may just be in general to whales, to connect with whales, because they're very high dimensional animals. And then, yeah, and it's just saying the rescue efforts then create a ripple effect. So very important. And then today was about, oh, that's right. I couldn't remember exactly what it was about. Today was beautiful too. It was really about, you know how I talked about the goat climbing the mountain, the Capricorn goat. You never give up. It's the persistent one who wins the prize. Doesn't matter how slow you are. It's just that you keep going and you never give up. Well, I'm being shown that the goat is taking respite right now, hanging out in a beautiful scenery, looking at waterfalls, and just appreciating nature. It's like reminding you to take breaks, and then also telling you right now may be that break time. Okay, you need to take breaks in between. And it reminds me of Oh, this is what else came up in it. As the goat, and it's not about the goat per se, it's just about the goat's persistence and taking breaks. And as he's watching over this beautiful waterfall, the pictures start looking like, oh, and just something else came up now too, like the keys, the hammers inside the piano, dun, 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 and it reminded me of the spaceship in Close Encounters, where you see the lights, dun, dun, dun. So I was seeing that, but it was showing you the goat enjoying the harmony of nature, and Spirit's connecting with me that it was just, you know, that nature is perfect in its imperfection, right? Just like humans. But Close Encounters of the Third Kind might be coming up too. Maybe there's been encounters already coming in that we just don't know about. And is it Neptune? I was getting codes for, I didn't even realize it, that because I don't know all of the planetary symbols. Some of the codes I've been getting are planetary symbols. And I believe that at one point I'd reported a message of ETs landing on a planet. I think it was Neptune actually. And I had shown you like a pitchfork, and it came up with my seesaw symbols. But a pitchfork, and Neptune is right side up like pitchfork with a cross below. So that's exactly what I was getting. So there's something about Neptune. And also, you notice, what I was noticing in the planet symbols today, I guess this is important to say, Uranus looks like it's similar to the pi symbol. Instead of the line going across the top, that goes across the middle, which is symbolic for other things as well. But that just has like a cross down the middle with a circle. And Jupiter is number 4, and Saturn is H. I mean, people don't see it that way. They're basically crosses with lines going one way and the other. But they're number 4 and H. And number 4 and H have always been important to me. H is the number of inner strength, so it's interesting because I named my children both with an H in their name for that reason. So H was coming up, and the number 4, and 107 came up again, and it was funny because Mercury looks like an ET, the symbol of that, and then Venus of a person, and Chiron looks like it's like an ant, like a bug that gets turned over on its back and they can't get up. They keep like, they're just like waving their legs. That's what Chiron reminded me of. And then Lilith reminded me of a woman who just won't shut up. The symbol. So was there anything else that day? Yeah, so I guess that's it for yesterday. So for today, it is August 11, 2018. 11 is justice. And this was important because it was definitely coming up for the Divine Masculine. They're still holding on to, you know, points of contention, not getting justice on certain things and needing justice, and they need to learn to let go of that. That the universe will take care of the justice. There's always a balancing of energies. It always has to work out that way. So you don't need to get your own justice. Justice will come to the others by others. Maybe you in the future, but it's nothing that you have to do. You don't have to hold on to those energies of feeling injustice. So that was very important to talk about today, as well as the day adds up to number 30, which is a 3, and that's the 4 of Wands, which is the Union card. So it could be all about the home. Stability, could be marriages as well, but union and justice, and that union is justice. So a very beautiful, important energy today. And the for my read this morning came up the Lovers and Ascension. So very beautiful. The only court card that came up in this read is the King of Pentacles, and somewhat balancing of the elements. I had 1 pentacle, 3 swords, 3 wands, and 2 cups, if you're interested, and 2 4s and 2 9s. So that was important. 49, which is the Get Your Wish card, you know, the 9 of Cups. And then 44 and 99. But also in the coding came up the number 419, which is an odd one, I don't usually see, but also the number 14. And then the coding I was getting had to do with a couple different things the way it came up. A headache was coming up, and so some of you supporting acing your ascension may get headaches to release certain things, okay? And I was getting the 9 OU. So also I was getting like a heifer support, and if heifer means something else to you guys as well, as far as in codes, but I was getting a structure of a very big structured support, which can be like the Union card, you know, the 4 of Wands. And I was getting one ass shows and tells the 9 where. But it could also be one ascends and shows and tells the 9s where. Okay? So it could also be half of your support is yourself. But I was being shown basically the main message was you're in groups. I mean, you're in big soul groups, you're in small soul groups, you're part of the whole, you're part of everything, right? But there are smaller groups, like groups of 9, or even could be groups of 12s, where one ascends first in order to show the other 9 how to ascend. So it could be a group of 10 as well. So I was getting headaches for mastectomies as well. That 1 out of 9 get headaches for with their mastectomies. So I don't know statistics, but this is the download I was getting, or just maybe it's just a message for someone that they need to know that. Okay. I was also getting for some that 4 support you in your acing ascension, and 9 owe you. So there will be others that may be helping you, and you may not be aware of that. You know, it might be, you know, karma, or just the contract that you have with them as you ascend. So to be aware of that. Okay, so the support, 4 support as you ace ascension, and 9 may owe you, or just the 9, the whole, owe you. So there may be some justice there that comes back to you from someone else. So I was getting the Lovers right away. Oh, and by the way, when I woke up this morning, as soon as I opened my curtains, the pink-collared, sparkly pink-collared cat, I saw him walk right past my house. And then again, just now, right before I started the video, came up to my window. It was just hanging out there, staring in at me to see what I was doing. And, you know, licking herself, and then watching what the Xfinity truck was doing out front. So that was interesting, because I never see her at my front window, ever. And I've seen a couple cats hang out in the back deck, and there's another cat that hangs out in the front sometimes, but I've never seen her. And I was just telling you about her, so she's back again. So allow people to give attention to you for the Divine Feminine. And this morning when I opened the curtains, the house that she was running by was number 30, which is today's date. Perfect. So like I said, as soon as I dealt these cards, I burped and I got nervous. So there's a little bit of nervous energy for the Divine Feminine, but definitely release coming up. The Lovers and Ascension came up. So the Lovers looking back, I was seeing the Lovers looking back at the Sun and the Moon not rising. So when they went through this process, you know, all the suffering because the Sun and the Moon weren't rising, the deception and the not feeling well, hanging and integrating new information and grounding it. And then I literally got that the Wheel, or the Wheel of Fortune, and it just started raining really hard outside. It just started raining when the cat came up to my window. That the wheel is half cocked. So I was literally seeing, and some stuff came up with alignment that I'll get into during this. But the wheel was coming up as half cocked, and then I literally went to write down, you know, I digress onto something else. I wanted to remind myself that one of my comments said to release thoughts by taking a deep breath and then turning your head and letting it out your mouth and blow. So I wrote, the wheel is half cocked, and then I wrote, comment said to release thoughts by taking a deep breath, turning head, and blow. So it's a little, you know, take it as you take it. But I needed to say it the way it came out because it was supposed to come out that way. I was also seeing the time 11:30, that it's pi alignment. Love, new love. As the Sphinx points east, but maybe ever so slightly a little bit north, to trust that a past arrest or unrest, and Goose's explanation from a book. Okay, so maybe the goose that laid the golden egg. That just actually just came up. But like I said before, don't let the words get in the way or the situations get in the way. Remember what this is about and how you feel, and no matter what your Divine Masculine or Divine Feminine has done, do you want them to go away, or do you want to work out being together? That's what you've been working toward. And you're always going to want to come back again. So why not try to work things out instead of judging each other for misunderstandings or for things that have happened in the past? You're starting fresh, clean slate. So the Sphinx was pointing east, ever so slightly north, to trust past arrest, so an arrest, or a arrest, so someone might have a negative past that they're worried about, but also someone trying to justify things by the book or from a book as opposed to using their intuition and using their psychic abilities. So when a twin is dealing with a twin, you can't do that anymore. You can't justify things by intellectual pursuits. It has to be by your feelings and your psychic abilities, your knowing. And I went to write down the antidote, but I wrote the anecdote is trust and faith. So that's the antidote, and the anecdote is trust and faith. That in the 11th hour, things will go your way. So it's getting, the Hermit then comes up, which also can be Virgo energy, sheds light on self-love equals new love. At the 11th hour alignment, when pain is most extreme, frontal and bleeding out, right hip to left shoulder, in a half infinity shape, so across the body, but it wasn't a straight line like this. It was like an infinity shape where it goes from the right hip curving out like the infinity would, and then crossing over right at the hiatus line, but nothing down the middle. So swords in the body up through that point, and then under the left side and up the breast to the shoulder. So it was an infinity shape, half an infinity. So I'm going to say that again. The right hip, when pain is most extreme, frontal and bleeding out, full frontal and bleeding out, right hip to left shoulder in a half infinity shape, the right hip, kidney, liver to left bottom breast to left breast to shoulder, bigger on the right, so on the Divine Masculine side, than the left, but the upper and lower chakras were equal. So like the solar plexus down and then the heart chakra up were equal amounts of pain, and nothing down the center of the body. When love triumphs over pain, as in the wise old man, lovers awaken together. Lack of beauty or sensuality blows the crown and frees the spirit, opening the heart to bliss and faith and freedom. Trust with death of lovers. Okay, so if there may be some challenges that are coming up, to see how well you stay detached and stay at 0 point and not go into falling apart, because it's saying to you in the 11th hour, this is when you're able to surrender and let go, and that's what brings in union. So important, the stuff that was coming up. And I love the way that it was shown to me at 11:30, that towards the east, that truth, I'm going to read that to you again because it was very important. So I'm going to start from where the wheel is half cocked, that the comment said to release thoughts, take a deep breath, turn head and blow. Also seeing 11:30, or the 11th hour, 11:30, pi alignment, P-I, love, new love, as the Sphinx points east, that's ever slightly north, to trust past arrest, so it's someone getting arrested, or arrest in their past, a time of rest away from you maybe, and a goose's explanation from a book, so like I told you about the intellectual stuff. And then anecdote and antidote is trust and faith. Know that in the 11th hour things will go your way. Self-love equals new love, so it's about loving yourself. When you love yourself, your twin feels that and loves themselves too. Okay? When you love yourselves, you love each other. That's how it works. When the pain is most extreme, full frontal and bleeding out, the right hip to left shoulder in a half infinity shape, right hip, kidney, liver to the bottom of the breast, and then left breast to shoulder, and nothing down the center of the body, so the center of the body was kept clear. That's when love triumphs over pain. As in the wise old man, lovers awaken together, because when you just can't take the pain anymore, you love yourself, you're drawn inward to heal yourself. Focus on the pain is calling your attention on yourself, and then you literally take your intention and put it where the pain or anxiety is. Okay, and as you both do that, you're able to come together. That lack of beauty or sensuality blows the crown and frees the spirit, opening the heart to bliss and faith and freedom. Trust with the death of lovers. At the 11th hour comes new love and bliss. Through self-protection, we find peace and bliss. But do we really find peace and bliss through self-protection? It's not about protection, it's about going within. So by focusing on self, because protection is fear, right? So that's not love. So self-protection is about just focusing on the body when the body needs it. So when you feel pain or discomfort in the body, literally use your intention to focus on that area on your body. That's self-protection. That's when you find peace and bliss. There's always peace in truth, but the truth just is. It does not need to be brought into the conversation when there is no conversation, just energy exchange. Okay, so you don't need the words, you just need to feel into each other. That's where the relationship change comes. Alignment northwest at the moment prior. And that was interesting because I took my vitamins this morning. I don't take niacin every day, but I took it today, and I always know because all of a sudden out of nowhere everything will start getting tingly. But I felt it in certain places, and I never noticed to write it down before. So the alignment northwest at the moment. Prior. Okay, so the niacin, I felt my elbows and my throat, my right cheek and hands, and index and thumb mostly, and upper chest slightly. There was also some itching on the inner arms near the elbow, and I felt the elbows right more than left. So at this northwest direction, feelings align and thoughts of rejection, the Emperor feeling rejection, shyness, vulnerability, and emotional immaturity. That's when pain aligns. And remember, that's all about Chiron. When pain aligns with love, Venus, northeast in Aquarius, then truth will guide bliss. And this just came through with my codes and the downloads that I was receiving. It was channeled to me. But it really aligns with, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. So it was going into the age of Aquarius. And I'm going to say that again. At northwest feelings, or at northwest, feelings then align with thoughts of rejection by the Emperor. their shyness, their vulnerability, and emotional immaturity. So when their feelings and thoughts can align, when the pain aligns with love, and this was a big thing coming up, showing me it's not about the Divine Masculine try to match his feelings to his thoughts. You can't do that, right? But when they align, it's really about aligning pain and love. Okay? You need to love your pain. When your pain and love become one, that's when you come into alignment, because you're at 0 point basically. But it becomes northeast. So when you come out of the northwest and go northeast in Aquarius, then the truth will guide bliss. So if anyone who knows astrology really well, because I'm not an astrologer, if they pick up on something about that, and then I was trying to figure that out as far as my own natal chart and what that might mean as far as timing, because it might be telling you a code of when the correct alignment is for you in your chart. And I looked back at my chart, and it was very significant for my Mars. My Mars is in Libra at 33 at 21 degrees. So that was very important. And my 7th house is Pisces. But it was something about, I don't know if it was my moon or the standard moon, like what it is today. But I was looking up those things, so you might want to check for yourself, because when my moon is in the 7th house, well, when the moon is in Pisces, which is my 7th house, is August 26, 2018, to the 28th of August. And I just done an astrology report with someone, and actually I want to bring up, it's Astrology for the People, and he's great, so I would check him out. One of the dates important where Mars goes direct came up, which is right around that alignment of 826 to 828. So there's something important there, because Mars, I just told you, came up as the significant number in my chart. And that day where the moon is in the 7th house of Pisces for me was the same dates as Mars going direct. So that might be something very significant. So if you're confused about that and you just have a question about your own chart, you can ask me and I'll answer it if I can. So I was just playing around with that to see what works, or what matched up with some other astrological alignments that I already knew. Okay? So that took me on a tangent for a bit, actually, because I was doing some research on that. Yeah, so instead of aligning feelings with your thoughts, align love with pain. And this is especially important for the Divine Masculine, because the Divine Feminine already kind of gets this, but the Divine Masculine is still, you know, very much logical. And also, when, in doing some of my research and talking about 2020, because 2020 is a big pivotal point, because that's when Jupiter, and this is what I found in what I looked up. And there was an article by Mark Lerner from 1996 to 2087 about the age of Aquarius. But it's all about the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, or the union of 2020, which is called my attention because in my birth chart, Saturn and Jupiter are conjunct in Capricorn. So there's a union in 2020 that kind of sets off this age of Aquarius, and there hasn't been this Jupiter-Saturn union in Aquarius since 1405 AD, so it's a big deal, and it's actually on 12/21/2020. So you know that's important, and it like starts off a 60-year cycle. And it's important because he was describing how the solar system is really held together by Jupiter and Saturn, even though they're in the middle of the position. And that the site, I think, was greatbear.mcn.org, saying that begins a period of 180 to 200 years of Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions in the air element. And then I was also getting March 14th, 2080. There's another Jupiter and Saturn meet at 11. I don't know what the plus sign meant, if it was supposed to be degrees, Aquarius, with Uranus, 4th degree Aquarius. And 3/14/2080 synced with me because it's my daughter's birthday, but it's also, that's Einstein's birthday and pi and all that. Okay, so something significant about pi and 3/14. And the last time that there were 7 planets in Aquarius was 1962. And that Pluto will be in Aquarius from 2024 to 2044. So for me, I'm feeling that there's something important for me, for my mission, between now and 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct in Capricorn, because that's my natal aspect. So you might want to check into that for your own aspect. And again, I don't know that much about astrology, so I can only answer so many questions. And know that the North Node is going to be changing into Cancer in November 7th, 2018. Your North Node, which is what you're following, changes from Leo to Cancer. So you might want to just be aware of that as you go into the next few months. There was something important I was picking up between when I was looking up things. So just the things I was finding was the important aspect at January 5th, because then it came up as an important aspect on March 4th to 5th, to both this year, because the March 4th to 5th was Venus Mercury Chiron at 27 degrees, that conjunction. So that was important, and it's relating it back to the other important alignment that happened January 5th of this year. And in talking about this stuff, I was getting connection, and actually that was between 11:11 and 11:22 also came up. So back to the read. The lovers release ego for new love and trust and bliss and relationship change. Recently, there's been news of a misstep, and it's interesting because mistletoe kept coming up for me. So that's like misstep, because toe is like a step. Preventing peace for the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles has been going through some kind of misstep, and there's news of their misstep. That their love, they see their lover as the sun and the moon, everything, no ego, just bliss. The foundation of this energy was about bad luck, feeling imprisoned, offering life to the needy and the wounded, cutting off money to help the destitute, and unable to come together. So there's two different messages kind of coming in here. That destiny slows down when you feel imprisoned, giving to the less fortunate. So if you don't feel it in your heart, you're going to block yourself. And if you just block giving in general, you're blocking yourself, because you're not being open to oneness. Because when you give positive energy to others, it comes back to you. Okay, so, and just, but you know, always love yourself first. So your energy will get drained by helping others. So when you are too drained, you need to take time alone to yourself, and don't be afraid to say no. It's okay. So centrally planning messages of truth in your knowing, in your passion or inspiration, and then all of a sudden feeling cut off by longing that might randomly come in for you still. Okay. The challenge being your ascension path of releasing pain of your twin, and just always finding satisfaction. I was getting for the Divine Masculine that justice is still a block, and it might have to do with divorce, but doesn't have to be. The justice thing, and actually the longing for your twin, actually came up for me last night in a specific wound. Having to pay for sex. I was feeling like the Divine Masculines were paying for sex, because basically they were still, you know, buying and supporting and doing nothing else and not getting any love, and then, but still wanting sex from their partner. So it was very disheartening. So that was the wound for the feminine and their longing for the divine masculine, and the wound for the divine masculine in seeking justice. Okay, so feeling fine that they're paying for sex, because at least they're getting, there's a balance there, justice, when that's not okay. Okay. And it's not okay that there's judgment on that. It's not okay because they're not in their truth. Okay, so all of these things, when you're not in your truth, are going to block you. So if you're giving to others, but it's not your truth, you're going to block yourself. Okay, because you only can give from an authentic place. So don't give to organizations or people that you're not resonating with, because it will block you. I mean, ultimately, you want to resonate with everyone and feel charitable towards everyone, but until you get to that place, it's not going to help you to fake that. Okay. You always need to act from your heart and your authenticity. If it's not in your heart to give to that person or that group, don't do it. And that's about trusting your own instinct and your own intuition. There may be a reason why you're not resonating with that person, or there may be something negative within that group that you don't know about, and you shouldn't support them. So the magician in physical separation, dumping toxic energies of control and burden. So the divine masculine, some of them may see their kids and their twin as burdens, because that, it's a big burden on their mental state. Now meditating to release thoughts as the Queen of Swords energy, the Queen of, or the divine feminine, is sticking it to their own insecurities. So they're, nipping in the bud their own insecurities, which is good. Choosing the path less traveled, being still and rising above with lover out of ego. So all of these steps that the divine feminine takes helps the divine masculine to also come out of his wounds that he needs to leave behind, and his situations, his burdens. So if he feels burdened by things he shouldn't be doing, so all of the things he's doing in his life, he's blocking himself because he feels that they are burdens, but he's doing them out of a need to please other people, the perception, how people will see him. So we all already know that that's not them not being in their truth. It was just 42-42, and that's the Two of Cups. So the magician separated, now able to come together to balance fruit, the fruits of their labor, a spoonful here, a spoonful there, focusing on the left or the feminine partner who's been waiting in her sovereignty, taming her beast until the Knight of Cups becomes jealous or has an epiphany, leads him. Oh, and I didn't see this before. I didn't write this way. The way I wrote it down, it's like leading him to his knees, but that's not what I wrote. But that was one of the messages. Okay, so it's like with the magnetic pull, it basically leads the divine masculine to jealousy or an epiphany, which leads him to his knees. And then I also got Belize for some of you who may be going on vacation. But I was also getting the focus on the knees and the legs, the alignment of the legs. It was because knees are all about anger. It was, and I have a bunch of messages, it'll come up in a minute. So soon, and I'm seeing a six-pack, all right, so it could literally be alcohol, but I was getting a body. The divine masculine's been working out, so he's showing his six-pack off, because he's proud of himself and whatever workout he's been doing. Exposed in a cross, so now I'm seeing that Neptunian energy. Okay, that same pitchfork energy, because the shape of the body, the musculature, was exactly like that. So there's some Neptunian energy that's coming in, releasing wounds, crying lots on the divine masculine side. The divine feminine is maybe feeling a little anxious today, maybe a little crying in separation from their beloved. So if they've been strong and centered and in their knowing at 0 point, they may have all of a sudden, a little lapse of longing. But remember that protection is fear. There is peace in bliss. So when you protect yourself, it's about, it's not about fear, it's about feeling into your pain or your discomforts, but it's also protecting your energy. And it's not out of fear. It's when someone drains you, cut off your energy. No longer allow people to take your power away from you, because now you've done enough. You now have to recharge yourself. So around the Divine Feminine, there may be seen the union of the King of Pentacles and a manipulative female, which also could be the Divine Feminine, not realizing she's being manipulative, but seeing that one of the four flames is blocked, the taking the high road. And then it was coming up about crying. Is crying always seen as a manipulation, right? Because usually you cry when you're hurt and you want the other, you're not talking it out anymore, so you end up crying because they're not hearing you, they're not getting it. So is that always seen as a manipulation of the feminine using crying to get their way? But, obviously most people aren't doing that to manipulate. They're just hurt. But we're learning to heal our own pain. So is crying always going to be considered a manipulation because it's really our issue to deal with? But then I was saying no, because then I'm seeing arrogance in the King of Pentacles. So it's like a balance where the Divine Feminine needs to cry less and the Divine Masculine needs to cry more. He needs to let go, because that's pride, arrogance. It means he's affected by your crying, but he's refusing to let you win. All right? That's arrogance. Especially if the Divine Feminine's crying from real heartbreak, not because she's trying to manipulate him. That he needs to get over his pride and allow his vulnerability to show, because that will stop her crying. It's not about her getting her way. It's about you showing that you care. Unless you're with a manipulative female, and then you need to get out of that relationship. So she cries less, he needs to cry more. And that came up recently because there was someone I was talking to who's a female, not a masculine. She could be a masculine female, who never cries. And we had to talk about that she needs to release. So it was funny. It was my sister and I with someone else. Also for the Divine Feminine, you need to clear blocks of the good life. That you're deserving of the good life. That it's okay. Because, a lot of us have grown up learning to save and always shop sales and things like that. But knowing your worth and you deserve joy. The Knight of Cups is offering love without judgment due to... Oh, it was something about two, like for the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine coming in. That block about worrying about why they're offering you love. Are they trying to get something from you? Or from your family, or whatever your situation is. So release these blocks. They're blocks of bliss. Blocks of spending, blocks of dreaming, blocks of deliberation. Like you don't have to make a quick decision. You can take time to deliberate. And then blocks about offering love, whether it's you offering love or love being offered to you. What is your block about that? And also came up, if you want something, ask for it. Don't expect someone to read your mind, even if it is your twin. If you want something, ask for it. It will be given to you. Ask for it, and it will be received. And then love partnership came up, and there's a little bit of angst there, just a little bit. It wasn't a heavy energy. New love is an awkward dance, free to come and go at work. I was seeing the Divine Masculine like kind of wanting these things. They want to feel like they're going to be free to come and go at work because maybe they're very restricted by their partner now because they're jealous or they're insecure. And also it's helping the Red Cross deliver boxes without holding on tightly. So it's could be about the Red Cross and helping them do that, but also could be about just about helping others without holding on to anything too tightly. Expectations, things like that. So it's going to be awkward at first when you first come into union, because obviously what are the expectations between you? You still need to get past that stuff. Also is getting for the Divine Masculine, becoming jealous now for different reasons, and putting their foot down. So this is when I was getting specific things to do for different blocks. So I was getting alignment of knees is specifically to release anger. So literally, if you're having Knee problems, get them aligned. So if you need to go to a chiropractor or something, you can do that. Or just work on alignment of your knees yourself. And you know, I have an inversion table to hang, so that helps too. But I was literally seeing that alignment of knees is helpful to release anger. Also, that coming together is freaking the Divine Masculine out, and they're holding back their passion too. So thoughts cause suffering. Anger, align knees. Stress and grief, stay present and meditate. Clinging, help others. Control, go to church or gather with like-minded individuals. Jealousy, offer love. Inner beast, pamper yourself. Injustice, do physical work or go to the gym. Okay, these were very specific messages. Okay, these are not this is not my advice. This is the messages I was getting. I'm going to state them again. Okay, align knees for anger. Stress and grief, for that, stay present and meditate. For clinging, help others. For control, go to church or gather with like-minded partners. Okay, so you can't be the sole person in control. But if you come together with like-minded partners, you're not going to want to control because you really get the other people. Okay. Jealousy, when you're feeling jealous, offer love to someone. It doesn't have to be that person. Offer love to someone else. The inner beast, so when you're trying to tame your inner beast, pamper yourself. Go out and have some luxury, you know, go get a massage, whatever it is, whatever makes you happy. There's lots of thunder coming up right now. And injustice, when you feel like you've been done wrong, go work out or take a walk, but some kind of physical exercise, do yard work, whatever. I was literally shown that. And I think these were amazing because they all made sense to me perfectly. To free self and take a leap of faith. Also to send 5D messages. Hold on loosely, offer love and friendship, and be inspired to grow. So I was getting the 3 areas. So within finances and energy, be responsible financially, ground, without clinging or holding on to money. So you do still want to be responsible with it. You just don't want to throw everything away for no reason, right? You want to feel grounded, but do it without clinging. And, you know, clinging means being able to give it away, being able to spend it, okay, through your inspirations. The second category had to do with cups and emotions and love. Always be a friend first. Always offer love. So the third category has to do with passion and creativity, was always be ready for a passionate new beginning inspired by creativity. So the lovers hang out in private, coming together, maybe a bit anxious for union. King of Pentacles, passionate to ascend and be open to the world, release wounds and take steps to open their heart more fully, meditate to release suffering to their 5D messages, or, you know, to the universe. Okay, so it was really a beautiful message. I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you real quick. Okay, so we have the Ascension deck for the Organic Divine Masculine and Organic Divine Feminine Twin Flames. What is the advice? Today is August 11, 2018, the eclipse, the new moon eclipse. What is the advice for the Organic Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine Twin Flames? And that wasn't quite right. It was Earth if you want to know, but it wasn't quite by itself. Let's see. Okay, this one definitely came out by itself. Lord Kumika is 42, which is perfect because I called out 4242. Archangel Retreat's kind of trying to come out. I'm going to pull it. It's number 50, which is the 10 of Cups, which is also great. Archangel Retreats. And the bottom of the deck is Animals, which is number 2. And we were just talking about animals. The affirmation for that is, I honor and respect all animals, so don't forget to do that. They are part of the universe you're trying to be one with as well. The first one that came out was Lord Kumika, is number 42, which I said is the 2 of Cups. It's also, a 6 of love, family, and community. It's the 2 of the feminine energy on the outside with the 4 of responsibility, financial responsibility, and being dependable on the outside, because of course that makes people feel safe and secure. Kumika came from another universe to set the conditions for the golden age of Atlantis with Archangel Metatron. He has returned to the koan of the 8th ray, a soul ray of purification, enlightenment, and communication. When you receive this card, you're on a quest for enlightenment. Your guidance is to breathe Kumika's blue topaz light into your aura. And that's very much of the throat chakra. Expand your attitude to one of unconditional love, acceptance of others, and personal responsibility. Okay, so it brings up responsibility. So you're not supposed to just give away all your money. That's not the point. Kumika will open up new doors for you and guide your footsteps toward enlightenment and ascension. And the affirmation is, I call on Lord Kumika to enlighten and support me. Okay. And it's very much about that topaz light, is very much about the throat chakra. So speak your truth and communicate clearly in a loving way. 42 is all about love. It's the 2 of Cups. And then Archangel Retreats came up again. That's number 50, which is the 10 of Cups. So that's all about love and family happiness. And it's that 5. It's the 0 of love energy on the inside, the source energy, and then the outside being very exciting, very free and romantic and very interesting to talk to. But it's all about the 5, the change, the expansion, the freedom, okay? So one of the most effective ways to accelerate your ascension is to visit Archangel Retreats during your sleep. It helps to know where the retreat is, but it's not essential. So Neptune might be important because I brought that up. During the day, think and talk about the Archangel whom you wish to visit. Breathe in his energy to prepare you for your journey. When you are ready, ask to be taken to his retreat. Your Archangel will unfold you and help you with whatever you need most. Your guidance is to receive for yourself and ask for the light to help you serve the world. So you always have to ask for help because they can't help you unless you ask. So do that every day when you need help. This affirmation is for when you go to sleep at night or whenever, to ask for their help. I visit Archangel, doesn't matter who, in my sleep tonight. Okay? And then for the past life deck, what is the guidance for the organic, divine feminine, divine masculine twin flames? And we're having a heavy storm here. It's not the loudest, but it's getting pretty loud. Okay, so for the organic, divine, masculine, and feminine twin flames, on August 11, 2018, there's a little bit of stress here. What is the advice? Okay, we have Asia. So we have this yellow again about confidence. Be confident in yourself. So your confidence is your protection. And actually wisdom wants to come up too, which is important because the owl's been coming up all week. About wisdom and purity and the sword of truth. And maybe you need to connect with a unicorn. And orphan. Okay, feeling left out like a child, abandoned, rejected. Okay, so everyone has some of that wounding. And again, Asia, there's some maybe just Asian religions you might want to focus on. But this is also about pride. You see the position of the statue is very prideful. Okay, and then we have yellow splashed across your heart. That's pride. And so, you know, it's always been the countries in Asia have been known to be very disciplined, you know, to a fault, you know, past love. So it's reminding you that nothing overrides love. You know, your confidence shouldn't block love. It shouldn't block your heart. And you don't need protection of your heart. You need to keep your heart open. You don't need protection. You just need to be reminded to love yourself first. And if you always do that, then you don't need protection, all right? So don't use confidence as a block to your heart. Just use it as a connection tool. Don't allow pride to get in your way. So there might be pride issues from a past life, so if that comes up for you, please address that. And then wisdom, just the unicorn is very pure and wise, truthful, loving. I mean, just that's all. What energy do you get from that card? You know, it's just beauty. That's funny. The beauty and wisdom within is the painting that I showed you that one day that an artist did of me and my energy, and she called it the beauty and wisdom within. So that just came up as well. Now we have the journey of love. Okay. So I love that 42 and 50 came up, because they're all about union energies, because that's about, you know, soulmates in love and a happy home, happy family. Just, it's the ultimate happiness, right? So it's about love and happiness. So if you dream to have lots of wealth and things like that, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's more of the Ten of Pentacles energy. That's the end of the deck, the ultimate manifestation, right? But the Ten of Cups is just showing emotional fulfillment, okay? So for the organic divine masculines and feminines, and this is for organic twin flames, what is the advice? What is the advice? Oh, this came right out by itself, okay? And this is the spaces between the words at the bottom, which is number 24, which is the Queen of Wands. It's that karmic energy. And we just hit 10101. So 24 might be important to address. All right, the Queen of Wands and her energy, that's all about sexuality. So some of that's been coming up all week. So there's definitely some sacral issues that still need to be addressed. And it's talking about, in this card, in the bottom of the deck, the underlying energy, so it's passing, the spaces between the words. So again, words aren't always the best way to communicate. It's about energy and feelings. Okay? And again, 24 is the opposite of 42. Okay? So it's kind of showing you that. And I know that for sure because my parents were literally, their soul numbers were 42 and 24. And my father's energy was always more loving and quiet, and I'm not saying my dad's perfect and my mom wasn't, because that's not the case, but and just relating that to the 24 and the 42, the 24 is much more volatile, it's very much more karmic. My mother had a bad temper, so, but she was all about getting the attention and being social, and she was amazing in that way. People loved being around her because she was a great conversationalist and a great storyteller, but she also had a really bad temper, you know, so we always have the light and the dark side of ourselves. My father's would be antisocial because he didn't like to be social, although he socialized a lot at work, so he didn't have to be. But anyway, the 42 is more of the love energy you want, that soulmate energy, whereas the 24 is more about me and getting attention, okay? So that's kind of the difference I'm seeing in that energy. But it's showing you the reflection in all things. But the card that came out for the Journey of Love is Loving All It Is. And we've had this is like the third time this week this card has come up. Loving all that is. Okay. And I said I like those positions too. This is a good position at night when you go to sleep to bring in your twin and talk to them and see your aura and practice those things. And then that position on your knees with your knees back. If you lay forward and put your arms up over your head, it's a really good stretch for your spine. So I'm going to read you that. I'm getting mother and birth as well for some reason. It's number 22, which is the Fool. And the Fool is about taking a leap of faith and being free in bliss. Okay, so it's very much the blissful energy, loving all that is. When you love all that is, then all that is loves you back. And it reads, in the thunderstorm, you wise awakened being, you can love all that is. You can love your tears and your sadness, for they are testament to your open heart. You can love your numbness and fatigue, for they show that you have worked hard and are now in need of rest. You can love your energy and passion even when you're so far ahead of the pack that you have to wait a while for everyone else to catch up. Maybe a day, maybe a decade or so, because you choose not to curb your enthusiasm for anyone. You can love your anger because underneath its fire is a desire for respect. And you can love your peacefulness because within your heart you really don't care much for fighting sometimes, and Spirit's been connecting. If there's something that is shaming you, worrying you, challenging you, it's okay to just love it. It will make sense when it needs to, and until then, just love it even if it hurts. For it's part of your own divine nature awakening. It may just be like a painful cramp happening because it's been curled up for too long. This oracle brings you a sweet message. You're just asked to love. Everything else will take care of itself. And the poem simply states, a state of being, allowing, receiving, becoming one with all that is. Okay, so that's a perfect way of ending this. And the messages were really perfect. I mean, there's really amazing union energy here. So drink your water, rest, get your exercise, just go out for walks or whatever. Make sure you get enough rest, as much as you can, and just take care of yourself. Just remember, always love yourself first. Rise and be loved, guys. Have an amazing day.